In this video, we're going to go through clip view's common features for both audio and MIDI clips. This includes clip functions, launch functions, start and stop positions, and loop settings. Firstly, we have the clip panel. From here, we can activate and deactivate the clip with the clip activation button. We can rename the clip and change its colour as well. We can also change the time signature as well as edit the groove of the clip, which will be explained in a later video. Next, we have the start and end points in the notes panel. The first box is bars, then beats, then 16th notes. We can type numbers in numerically, or we can scroll with the mouse. This will also update if we click and drag the markers in clip view. We also have end markers for the clip. This is greyed out because we have the loop button activated, so there's no need for end markers. Within the loop section, we have the loop activation button to turn loop mode on and off. We have the position of the loop in beats and bars. This will default to the start point. However, the loop can be set to loop a different section of the clip away from the start or end points of the track. We can also set the loop position by clicking and dragging the loop brace at the top of the clip view. Finally, we have the loop length values. This defines the loop length in bars, beats, or 16th notes. Once again, we can either scroll up and down, enter numerical values, or drag the ends of the loop brace in clip view. As I launch this clip, we can see how this position and looping function works in real time. If we select the audio and right click, we can also crop the clip. This will crop or truncate any unnecessary audio and then update the waveform accordingly. Now we'll take an in-depth look into the launch functionality. In the launch panel, we have launch mode, legato, launch quantization, and follow actions. Firstly, we're going to take a look at launch modes. Launch modes define how a clip will be launched. By default, clips are set to launch in trigger mode. This means when you launch a clip, it will play till it reaches the end of the clip or until you press stop. If it's a loop, it will continue to loop until you press stop. Take note that the stop function will still react to the global quantize setting. So if it's set to 1 bar, the clip will keep playing to the beginning of the next bar. The next mode is gate. Gate requires that the launch button is held down. Once you release the launch button, the gate closes and the clip will stop according to the global quantize settings. Next we have toggle. This just turns the launch button into a toggle button, so clicking it once launches it and clicking it again stops it according to the launch quantization. Finally we have the repeat. Whilst the launch button is held down, the clip will repeatedly launch in time with the launch quantization. When we hold down the launch button, the first beat will continually repeat. When we let go, the entire clip will launch as normal. Next we have the launch quantization. This defines the timing for clip launch. This is set to the global quantization by default, but can be set to other note values or turned off completely. Each clip can be set up to have its own individual launch quantize settings. These settings can be extremely useful for when finger drumming or using MIDI controllers for live performances. Next we have legato mode. When launching clips with legato mode turned on, this allows you to jump between clips, but rather than starting from the start, the second clip will carry on from when the first one left off, depending on the quantization settings. To show this, I'll jump between these two clips using an 8th note launch quantization. Notice how the playback scrubber continues instead of playing from the first bar or beat. If we turn legato off, we can see that the clips launch from the beginning as usual. Next we have the velocity. By default, this isn't going to affect the clip at 0%. If we turn this velocity up to 100% and launch a clip from the MIDI keyboard, now the volume of the clip is fully controlled by how hard we hit the keys on the keyboard. Unless you have a very specific use for it, we should just keep this setting to 0%. Next we have follow actions. Follow actions are a very powerful tool which allow us to set rules to automate clips and gives us the ability to launch them. The first 3 boxes are the time parameters for the follow actions in bars, beats and 16th notes. Underneath, we have 2 boxes that allow us to choose what the follow action will do after the specified time has passed. We have a choice between no action, stop clips, play again, previous, next, first, last, or any. We've also got other as well. Play other will play any other clip apart from the one that's already playing. If we have a look at session view, it's important to note that for the follow actions to work, there can be no gaps between clips. If there's a gap between two separate groups of clips, the follow actions will work for each other but not for the group of all of the clips. Underneath the actions buttons, we've got two sets of numbers. These act as a ratio between each other to define the chances of the left-hand follow action happening over the chances of the right-hand follow action happening. For example, if we set the left follow action to play previous, and we set the right follow action to play next, we can now set the ratio to say 5 out of 10. Now, for every time the previous clip is played, there's double the chance that the next clip will get played. We can also set this to 0 to disable it if we only wish to use one follow action. Follow actions can be extremely useful for launching clips of percussive samples to hit at random 16th note intervals within a loop. They can also be used effectively to launch effects live using dummy clips. To recap, in this video we've covered clip functions, launch modes, loops and follow actions.